Hey, guys, what's up and welcome back. On this episode of Johnny Go Vroom, we are going to make a little bit of a love sandwich. So, on the one hand, I'm going to show you some really cool things riding the electric unicycle around here in Gainesville that are beautiful. On the other hand, we're going to talk about where we are, how we got here, and how we can come back if we can come back. So, where we are? Well, a gentleman in St. Petersburg recently got a ticket for $62 riding his OneWheel.
So, I was fully expecting that the air was going to come out at some point. I definitely didn't expect for it to be so good, for it to last so long. That says a lot. Additionally, I'm a little bit nervous because I've got about 53% battery. I didn't plan on doing this way. So, I'm a little bit nervous, to say the least. But we're gonna see what happens if we ride around 20 miles an hour for the rest of the trip.
There's a statute. There is a statute in St. Petersburg regarding OneWheels and electric unicycles. So that's where we are. How did we get here? I personally think that it has something to do with crazy ass individuals, with the oligarch scooter companies, and lastly, a lot of people are going to get hot with me about this one, but those critical mass group rides, guys, those things are really putting us at jeopardy, okay? And is there any way that we can come back from here? Like, is there any way that we can actually, or that we can slow this from happening in such an aggressive way across the board in different spaces? It's going to be hard for you to have a reference unless you see the video and also see the statute. So here's the video.
And do it right. So we can have a conversation and learn from it, or you can argue about it.
I just wanted to ride a bike.
Right here.
We're glad you're here.
You have not done your research. You have got onto a motor vehicle classified as a toy in the state of Florida. You've chosen to operate on the streets without doing your.
All right, that besides that, why does he have my ID? I have a probable cause.
Because you were a witness, right? So he's going to do his thing. He's going to make a note.
So you see right there, the police officer was absolutely zero interested in trying to have a conversation, trying to have any sort of communication. It was just a very one-sided sort of discussion. And they needed an entire fleet, I guess, of police officers to deal with the St. Pete folk fleet. They looked to be such a rowdy group of guys. Okay, so that's the outcome. And this is the statute. Okay, section 26-284, motorized toy vehicles. So basically, it defines the motorized toy vehicle as...
I've not seen that before. That's new. Somebody's dedicated.
A motorized skateboard, roller skates, hoverboards, hover skates, hover shoes, one-wheeled electric boards, like a OneWheel or similar device. And so that's where they're catching all of us. OneWheels are explicitly included, but we're kind of implied. And that makes it to where that you can't ride it on any city street. You can't ride it on any sidewalk, any public walkway in the downtown zoning district, all the Central Avenue sidewalks, all of the city park property, municipal pier district. They've basically carved out all of the most attractive and common public areas where you would want to actually ride. So if you break the rule, you already saw it right there. It's going to be a civil infraction. It's not a criminal charge per se, but dude, the fine could go up to $500, imprisonment up to 60 days, or both, depending on the circumstances. So it doesn't say criminal, but it feels mighty criminal. But most people are going to get off just like the dude Jay Milo got off. That was a dude that you saw there, member of the float fleet. So $62 citation. That's most of the times what it's going to be, and a warning. They can confiscate the vehicle though if they want to. So that's where we are. So yeah, I did a little digging, and the punishments are real. So that's where we are. And I wanted to know if that was the only place that this was happening. But apparently, this is not just happening in St. Petersburg, okay? This is now happening in Stamford, Connecticut. In January 2025, they enacted an ordinance targeting motorized recreational vehicles encompassing dirt bikes, ATVs, and similar devices. So electric personal assistive mobility devices like OneWheels, they're permitted on sidewalk, crosswalks, and bike lanes. They can't exceed 5 miles per hour, guys. When have you ever done that? When have you ever stayed under 5 miles per hour? And you should stay as close to the right side as possible when on roadways, and that makes sense. But violations, if you start weaving around, that's why I think they're telling you to stick to the one side. If you start weaving around.
So something that I'm thinking about right now is that I'm not able to confidently punch through side to side because there's so many cars. So that is something to think about, that all of the aggressive behaviors get put to bed when you're riding a much more pedestrian wheel such as this one, for better or for worse.
Or going faster than 5 miles per hour, you can look at $1,000 fine and potentially your vehicle seized. Mayfield, Ohio, same thing. City ordinance prohibits individuals on roller skates, inline skates, rollerblades, sleds, toy vehicles, skateboards, scooters, or similar devices from entering any roadway except when crossing at a crosswalk or designated play street. So there's rules that are being built all over. Same thing, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Similarly, this same city, it bans the use of roller skates, skateboards, tricycles, toy vehicles, any similar devices on any roadway.
I love these planets. So on 8th Ave here in Gainesville, we have all of these cool pylons all the way up. One for each of the celestial bodies in our solar system. This one, obviously, is the sun. So it's pretty cool, right?
Or a lot used for vehicular travel or parking, with exceptions for crossing at marked crosswalks. Now,
and in order of appearance, we have got Mercury.
I know it sounds stupid because you're like, well, you didn't say electric unicycles in that stuff.
And Venus. Just trying to look and make sure I'm not blocking anybody's path that might be trying to get on the sidewalk here. You might recognize this one. It's Earth. And coming right up here, that one's Mars.
But the whole toy vehicle thing and the whole quote-unquote motorized recreational vehicle thing can encompass devices like OneWheels and EUCs, even if they're not directly named. And so most cities are going to only enforce with just like a hefty fine, but some of them will allow for impoundment, and you could also end up getting thrown in jail if you're a pain.
Well, it took a really long time, but we finally made it to Jupiter. And they try to scale the distance. I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, but it is pretty cool. One of the things I love about this wonderful city of Gainesville.
So my first and obvious question is, have you had any run-ins with the police or with sheriffs or anything like that? Personally, I've had 3 run-ins. Highway Patrol, cool. GPD, cool. 4. UFPD, the UPD, super cool. Alachua County Sheriffs. I have had a really crappy experience with one of those dudes, and he absolutely chased me down on a sidewalk in his truck, just getting it to try to make his point. So those are my experience. What about you?
Right here, we've got Saturn. It doesn't have room for the rings around it, but don't let it fool you. This is Saturn.
So I think this is a threefold issue where we're having issues. I think it's in the group rides, the critical mass group rides. I think it has to do with the individual rider behavior of extreme riders. And I think it has to do with the influence of commercial scooter companies, guys. Personally, I think that's what we have going on. Now, the critical mass global movement is super duper dope. And for cyclists, it was really, really cool and a great way to advocate for their rights and safer streets. Now, these rides happen without permits, though, and they can disrupt regular traffic flow. Now, I think when you're riding bicycles, you get a little bit more grace and a little bit more love from people because you're not blowing past them necessarily. You're just kind of easing through. You're kind of oozing through the town and kind of vibing at a nice slow vibe pace. But when you're out here on a full-on high-powered electric parade and you're blocking traffic and you're doing this regularly 2 and 3 times a week, you're gonna get noticed, guys. So, I mean, like, you know, St. Pete isn't the only place that's cracking down. New York City's cracking down. Chicago is cracking down. So, guys, we've got to take this seriously.
You might have wondered why I was going backwards, and that's because you're in us. I know it's low-hanging fruit. As far as jokes go, it's low-hanging fruit. But there it is. All right, let's, I don't think we're to the last one yet. I'm pretty sure we get to keep Pluto.
Time to boldly go where no V9 has gone before. No, but seriously, don't take your V9 here. This scared me, dog. I didn't know if the angle was going to be okay for it, and then I got over here, and the dirt was way loose, and then you'll see it almost falls out from behind me there into the ravine back behind me there. Yeah. So, cost-benefit ratio, big no. It's not just about the critical mass rides, though, man. You and I both know these dudes, we see them busting through traffic the wrong way, blowing red lights, cutting off cars, slamming their wheels into parked cars.
Under the sea, and we've got Neptune over here, and it's just under the sea. That's all I know. Okay, anyway, that's this. Here we go. Whew. Man, could you imagine? Could you imagine riding your EUC all the way to the edge of the galaxy? Oh my God, solar system. Sorry, solar system.
And it's always the outliers that end up making it rough for everybody else. People that are constantly doing the same violations, people that are constantly pushing the boundaries of kind, nice police officers and local regulators and lawmakers. I mean, they really try to give us a lot of breathing room, guys. Just don't take it all for granted and be complete tools about it, you know? And if you have friends that do this, police them. If you see me do this, police me. I mean, we need accountability, guys.
Comet Halley-Aphelion. Okay, I think that's Halley's Comet.
And I know this is going to seem a little tinfoil hatty, man, but companies like Veo and Bird, with their shared micro-mobility services, their involvement influences local regulations. Their exclusive agreements with cities like Sarasota and St. Pete enable them to have sole operating rights in certain areas, encouraging legislation and lawmakers to step in on their behalf.
And like I told you, we get to keep Pluto. Isn't that pretty cool? And I feel like it gets underrepresented in the planet world, especially these days, guys. So I feel like more Pluto, more Pluto, more Pluto.
So what do you guys think it is? Is it the group rides, right? Is it the crazy ass individuals? Is it the oligarch, scooter nefarious companies? I think there's like a mixture of all of them, and I'm sure there's things that I've missed. So if I missed anything, just put it down in the comments below, and let's open up this discussion so that way we can try to make things better. Beyond just being good role models, we need to establish channels for PEV users to provide input on regulations and infrastructure needs, initiate pilot programs to test and refine micro-mobility integration strategies.
I normally do some... Sorry. Jeez, people are so nice. I'm such an asshole. Such an asshole.
We can help with policy development, engage with local authorities to develop policies that accommodate PEV usage while ensuring public safety. We can implement educational campaigns to inform riders about safe and legal PEV operation. Jesse Garnier, I believe that's his name, he's one of the biggest advocates for PEVs. We can talk about the way that it helps infrastructure. That's a dialogue that we should totally have. Cities, they need to be investing in infrastructure that supports micro-mobility, such as dedicated lanes and parking areas for these devices, right? That $62 ticket, it was more than a fine. It's a cause for pause, to reflect on the growing pains in our evolving transportation landscape. And honestly, by embracing collaboration and innovation, we can create a future where micro-mobility enhances urban life for us all. And it's not just a joy for us and a burden for everybody else. Because frankly, guys, that's not fair. And you know what? We're better than that. Till next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been your boy, Johnny. And let me know what you think we need to do down below. How can we make the change?